Let's see. All right, Broadcast Guitar has begun. I'm Josh Siegel, glad to be here. Today we're taking a deep dive into the 2004 hit Wake Up by Arcade Fire. The song that inspired every other indie rock band to hire 10 people and do like some sort of epic pirate ship chant for the chorus. The hot topics on this tune: lots of major 1, minor 6, major 4. Let's see, like I always say, I'm not really going to show you the note for note rendition. I'm going to show you the tune, how to arrange the melody into the chords and things like that. That way you can really see the theory, make it your own. We also want to know how to navigate that flat 3 chord that is in the bridge. We'll talk about that. How to play the chords and the melody at the same time. When doing so, you're going to see that it creates a lot of major 6 chords and major 7th chords. So it's a good opportunity for us to do a little chord building on the whiteboard. Let's do that. Let's see what else we got. I looked up how they described the band, at least this album, Baroque Chamber Pop. We'll talk about the elements of that genre. I would say the main thing is very classical, very major scale-y. If you are catching the class live, thanks for being here. If you're catching it after the fact on the edited, shortened YouTube version, treat yourself, come on over to Broadcast Guitar. But I wanted to say, which way is this? The collections button. If you check out the Patreon, make sure to hit the collections button. I recently realized it looks way different on the creator side than it does on the viewer. Everything I did was to trick Patreon into being a website. So hit collections. Let's see. Got that verse. Let's see. Hit that verse again. Do it here. Let's hit that chorus again. Now let's say I want to get to that bridge. Back to the 1, C, just like the warm-up. All right, let's get into it. Whiteboard, there it is. Okay, so there is a tab for this one up. I just kind of gave you guys some examples of what I just did right there. A little bit, I left the bridge open for you to arrange yourself. But This one's in C major. Good place to start would be the C major scale. Whole step, half, whole step, half. So we got C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. To make chords, we need at least 3 notes. Someone a long time ago realized it sounds good to go every other note. So the 1 chord is made of C, E, and G. There's our 1 chord. The 2 chord is made of D, F, and A. That is a D minor. That's a minor 2. The 3 is E, G, B. That's a minor 3. Just one quick thing there I should say is we can see right here how a major chord is built. 1, 3, 5 out of its major scale. So there's a lot of info there. We can see how far the root is from the next note. 2 whole steps, major chord. If you're wondering how do I know that the 2 chord is minor, I'm looking right here. It's not 2 whole steps. That's a step and a half. That's called a flat third or a minor third, so it's a minor chord. Let me just back some of these graphics off. Okay, now the 4 chord is made of F, A, C. That's a major chord. G, B, D. That's a major chord. The 5. A, C, E. Minor 6. B, D, and F. That's a diminished 7 chord. And then C, E, G. There's our 1. This song goes C, A minor, F, C. It's pretty much the whole song. So what we're seeing is a major 1, as you can see right there. We got the minor 6, as you can see right there. And the F will go yellow, sure, is our major 4. So take a look at the notes in those chords, and then we're back to the 1. So you're going to hear me say this a million times. A C chord is C, E, G. And I'll just skip to the A minor, A, C, E, only 1 note difference. C, E, G, A, C, E, and then F, A, C is an F chord. One other thing. So in the bridge, there is this chord. What is it? Maybe, you know, we could go there. I think they're probably borrowing it from the C minor scale, but do we need to? I want to just get you guys moving. So an E flat, right off the bat, you can see the 3 is normally an E. So if we have an E flat chord, we just call it a flat 3. It's made of E flat, G, and B flat. So that is the 3rd chord of the C minor scale. But just look at the notes in it. E flat, G, and B. Look at what notes are not normally, that are not in the C major scale. It's the E flat and the B flat. So as we work our way through there, that's what I want to keep an eye on. But again, I'll bring out the whiteboard again because that's kind of a bigger topic. But underneath it all, we're really dealing with 1, 6, 4, 1, C, A minor, F, C. And then we got that E flat chord right there for our big bridge. All right, let's take that over to the guitar and apply some of this. So a C chord, C, E, G, right here, C, E, G, C, E. A minor, A, C, and E, A, E, A, C, E. F, we'll do the full bar chord, F, it's gonna be F, A, C. Not necessarily in that order. F, C, F, A, C, F. And then C, E, G. Okay. Because the level 1 version is so playable, C, A minor, we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on there. I could say though, on the tab, if you are wanting to apply the warm-up, I just wrote a C note right there to show you guys the timing of the intro, the da-da-da-da-da-da. It goes 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. So notice they're just resting on the and of 2 and the and of 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. So there's another cool way to work on your level 1 way, which is C, A minor, F, C. You could do it as root notes with that timing. A 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. You can feel right there the 1 to the 6. Here's the sound of the 4. There's an F. You could add the 5th to it, C and G, A and E, F and C. Thicken it up, a little more rock and roll. Okay, couldn't help but start humming it, so maybe it's time to start talking about how to, which topic is it now? This, how to play the chords and melody at the same time. Okay, so do we head to the whiteboard? Yeah. So we could talk about that chord building. Major equals 1, 3, 5. First note, third note, and fifth note of its scale. So if you're talking about an F chord, the F has to be the 1. So we have to talk about the F scale to figure out what notes are in there. You do see these chords in other keys because we only have 12 notes, so there's lots of overlap. But when we say a major chord is made of the first note, the third note, and the fifth note, remember the first note has to be the root of the chord. So if we're talking about C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The C major is C, E, G. A major 6 is 1, 3, 5, 6. So that would be C, E, G, A. That note is a big part of the melody, the A. So I want you to know it because that note's a huge part of the feeling of the song, that big chant and so on. Then you're also going to see a major 7 chord, which is, you guessed it, 1, 3, 5, 7. So this would be C major, this would be C6, and then C major 7 would be C, E, G, and B. I think all of those appear in this song. Let's do it one more time though, because we're also going to see like an F6. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. F6. So in order to analyze that, now I've shown you the formula up the top, that major 6 chord. Heck, let's do all those. I think you might even see an F major 7. So that's why I'm saying you might want to be able to pull up the scale F, G, A, B flat, because we're doing whole step, half. See that half step right there? C, D, E, and F. Now I've got everything I need to build any type of F chord. So F major is F, A, C. That's 1, 3, 5 right here. F6 is F, A, C, D, adding the 6th note. And then F major 7 is 1, 3, 5. Yeah, F, A, C. And then the 7th note is E. So that's how you build those chords. Again, I'm going to narrate it a bunch. Don't let that hurt your brain too much. Okay, now we can go to the guitar. So for the whoa, 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 the pirate chant. Let's talk about it in its simplest form. G, A, E. G, A, and E, all notes in the C major scale. Now right off, and then it goes E, G, E, G, E, D, D, E, C, A, C. Figuring it out with you guys. So one more time. A, G, A, G, E, E, G, E, G, E, D, D, E, D, E, D, C, A, C. Okay, one more time. G, A, E, E, G, E, G, E, D, D, E, D, E, C, A, C. I finally did it right. So now you can see though, sounds a little thin to just impersonate that vocal melody without anything to harmonize with it. So the reason I wrote it the way I did was, let's start with the C chord. C, E, G. C, E, G. 3 notes. Now right here, we need a C6. We can't play all of them because we only have 4 fingers unless you count your thumb. So if I was really like hell-bent on playing the C, the E, the G, and the A, there's no way I can reach that. So as guitar players, we just kind of convey the tune, deciding what's important. So I'm gonna hit this C chord, and then I build a C6 like that. C, E, A. Because remember, a C6 is C, E, G, A. So as long as I have C, E, A, it's gonna feel like it. So C, C6, C, C6. And then this is where the pick really matters, because the melody goes. So again, even though I have the chord here, I just strum up to that E when I need it. So I go. That right there. Because remember, underneath the melody is G, A, G, A, G, E. I'm just doing it here. And then I keep the C right there to give it some feeling. See, I just restricted my pick to right there, C and E. So now get comfortable with the melody up in this little zone. And then it goes E, G, which I have right here. However, this is something I encountered as I was arranging it, is that even though an A minor is A, C, and E, and an A minor 7 is A, C, E, G, so I have C, E, G, and you'd think just hit the A, you know, you could do that, but I really don't like the sound of it. I want it to be a little more pronounced, a little more different than the first chord. So what I did is I went open A there, E, and then the G right there. So I can just, but that's also why I did it. I really want to be able to like make that E stand out. So I went, and there's my A, E, and then I have that G right there. So I can just use my pick to go between E, G, E, D, and now right there, the melody is A, D. It's just a little passing note. So watch this. C, C6, C, C6, C, C, and now A minor conveyed like this, and then A minor 7. You can just play a single note, D. And now we're gonna see that F6 come up. Remember, an F is F-A-C, an F6 is F-A-C-D. So we have that D note right there. I just have to think, how can I make an F chord happen up here? I have F, A, and then I can bar to hit that D right there like that. Okay, that's a lot, so watch this. Here's F6, F, A, D, and now the melody goes there. What note is that? It's an E. So an F chord with an E added to it is an F major 7. Like I said, when you work that melody, and you're going to see lots of major 6 chords and major 7th chords. And then you can see it's really got that somber sort of melancholy sound. And then C and C. So one more time underneath, we're doing C, A, C. So I didn't add that yet, but that's over the F, F6, F major 7, F6, F major 7, C, A. Again, I can't make everything into a chord. And then, so when you saw me do that little performance at the top, I was going. F6, F major 7. Okay, that's one way to do it. Hey, Josh from Broadcast Guitar here. Hope you've been digging these videos. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you'd like to access the full-length lessons, get the handwritten tabs, or better yet, participate in my live weekly classes, Q&A sessions, and special guest interviews, head on over to Broadcast Guitar's Patreon and start your free trial today. I look forward to working on some music with you.